So we're here in sunny California, where you guys are all chilling like residents, if you don't mind me saying. Teenage Engineering, Meet the Makers, kind of pretty much got... Is this all of you, or is this just the people who aren't back in tech support having to answer the phones?
It's just this year's NAMM team. I mean, we're not having a booth this year, but we're here presenting the Modular that you just saw. So, but yeah, we're... Maybe you know, but maybe you don't. Right now we're about 40 people in Stockholm.
Wow, okay.
So yeah, we started as 4 with OP1. Then we became 5 with our first hire was a software engineer. And then I think the second was you, Tobias, to kind of take care of our first customers with OP1. I think, yeah, you and I met through your record store probably 10 years before that.
So you're kind of collection of friends and business associates. And did you start from a design point of view? Because the design aesthetic is, very strong in what you do. It feels like you probably take your time to make it look right and feel right before anything goes out the door. I mean, did you start with that, or did you start with wanting to make it musical things?
I mean, it definitely started with making a portable synthesizer. I mean, we discussed making a small... kind of like a modern time VL tone, and that's something we discussed already in end of 1999. We worked together on other stuff. We did games at the time, separate company, and then everyone started freelancing for a couple of years. There was some other businesses, and then eventually 2000. I think Wikipedia said 2005. I think you mentioned.
Yeah, that's when it said it started officially.
Somewhere around that time, we moved into the same space, the 4 of us, and decided let's make the OP1.
And that took that came in around 2010, 2011. So
it took us
a while,
something like 3 years. But yeah, we were doing other projects in parallel, kind of to fund the project.
Right. Was that as designers? And engineers.
It was software design, engineering work, all kinds of things, and none of us really. I mean, we had been part of hardware projects, but we were kind of new to the game, and also that product was. I mean, that form factor was more kind of in the cell phone game. It's more and more accessible nowadays, but yeah, that's kind of why it took us to. We thought it would take 1 year. And then it took 3.
And hugely successful. So I guess that made suddenly you kind of like, wow, we can do so much more. We've got other things to do. I mean, where did it go from there? I mean, did you guys kind of start? You seem like you've got quite a strong gaming ethos as well, which is I think is apparent in the instruments, the OPZ we've just reviewed, and it felt like it's the journey of discovery through it is almost like playing a computer game, right? Even though it's got not a GUI or not a screen on the actual device itself.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, we all have done games in various forms. I mean, there's people from the PlayStation industry working for us, and I think it's just tons of hours put into everything, just polishing, like user interfaces, the way you use the machines, things like that, and to kind of get this instant fun take on synthesizers, it kind of has to have that direct feeling of some, say, vintage Nintendo games. You turn it on, it's fun.
Yeah, well, deeper, I mean, very much with the pocket operators. That's really clear in those. I'm sorry, your role in it. I mean, is that something that you kind of? Who decides when it's done? When you've got to where you need to get with the UI and the kind of design content.
Yeah, so historically I've been in charge of design, but now we are 4 designers. But I would say we do it as a team. My role is more to collect the ideas and put visuals to it. So that's. What do you say, a catalyst, almost, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. In a way, we don't care that much about design, to be honest. We care about the details and ideas and stuff, but design, we just wanted to make it, high quality.
Yeah.
I would say.
And that was the thing, certainly with the OP1. I mean, it was the sort of military grade kind of CNC stuff and all the knobs with the specification. But it's really kind of quite a big part of it as well. A thing of beauty, a sort of aesthetically pleasing device.
I think, that's also the sum of the team. You know, like David here he's like this kind of what do you say, perfectionist in a way, you know, and I'm a more like this ID type of like visual guy. I want to, you know, like get the ideas out as fast or as quick as possible, and David, you know, like then he you know, like
the refining part process.
Yeah, a little bit, and he's like coming to me and say, you know, like this radius, should it be like 2.5? Wouldn't like 4 millimeters would be that better, you know, like this edge is a little bit sharp. So it's a little bit like you know, like a trust between friends, that you trust each other so much that when someone says something, you are really take it serious and listen, you know, to each other.
Okay, so, I see. So it's kind of it's very much a collective process, right?
Yeah.
I
hope so. Yeah.
But when you see, I mean, the other thing that I noticed in the timeline of products coming out, I mean, there's quite a lot of time between them. I mean, it seems to have accelerated recently, obviously with the modular stuff, because you've got lots of products in one. But does that count as a whole? Do you see what I mean? You say the time between products coming out.
You know, I think, you know, like what we feel is that, you know, we are like children of the like home computer revolution, and a lot of stuff that we grew up with, we you know, the first experience we had with those things was, you know, like fantastic, you know, like the first Walkman, or, you know, like the Sinclair, you know, like the CX81 or whatever, you know. And I think when we create products, we have like this kind of feeling in our gut, you know, like in our like belly, right? What do you say? And all of us know that feeling, and then we work, you know, year after year to refine that. So the people who, you know, like use our products get the same feeling.
I mean, it's very people who use teenage engineering stuff is very evangelical.
Yeah,
and you find that with things that you find it with things that are beautiful, but you also find it with things that are not immediately obvious on how to use, because you have to invest time. I mean, do you want people to invest time? Is that also important to what you do?
Yeah, I think, you know, like this kind of discovery process, when you get the machine, you know, like first you have the first impression, you know, you think it's like this thing and you can do that, and then you know, you discover, you know, like, oh, there's another layer, you know, and then it's like another layer, and I think, you know, to us it's a little bit like we try to design products as we would, you know,
you want them to be.
You want them to be, yeah.
It's interesting as well. I mean, I don't know if there are any other designers on in the team here, but I was listening to a discussion between Jean-Michel Jarre and Richard Hortin on a recent interview, and they're both really into Japanese culture and the aesthetic of and the beauty of the things. Yeah. But they were completely bemused by the fact that it doesn't really seem to have gone into the instruments and the electronics that they design. I mean, they have made iconic things. I mean, this is very generalized, obviously, but it's interesting that in the music technology world, they don't make beautiful things in the way that you guys do, and it's kind of quite curious. They were essentially citing you guys as having that Japanese design ethos when. And not being Japanese, is it a Scandinavian thing? I mean, because you know, again, stereotypes. IKEA has a strong design ethic, and it makes things that are attractive, and you want to buy them. You just want to buy them before you know what they do, almost.
Yeah, I guess it is. You know, I don't think we don't think about it that much. And
just me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, like these guys don't think about it. But no, I would say, you know, like that we're not that smart, and, you know, we don't have a strategy. I think we more, you know, like want to explore things and see what happens, you know, because, you know, we have really long winters and we're quite bored, you know, up north. So we have to create something, you know, to make it a little bit, you know, brighter. But by boredom. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why, but I totally understand what you mean.
But I wonder. It's weird. I don't know why more people aren't making beautiful things. Yeah. Because clearly it can work. You guys, you know, obviously OP1.
Because it's hard, man.
Yeah, well, yes, there's that. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, so I would say it is actually hard, and I think, you know, like to just make, you know, the hardware and, you know, like write some basic code. That's fine. Everyone can do that, but it's like the next level. You know, like write, you know, like like what do you say, elegant,
making it beautiful.
Yeah, in all parts, it could be, like, how you program a knob to be responsive of, like, for example, for the OP1, we discovered when we started making that, we felt there was a lot of like issues with current synths on the market, and one was that on some synths you turn the knob and you didn't hear a difference. You need to turn it a lot.
It's the linear, logarithmic, and exponential. The design law. Yeah,
that's what's the word I was looking for. No, but so what we decided, what we decided is that you should be able to turn a knob, like one turn, and a lot of things would happen, while turning. I think that's like one of the secrets in the OP1, and I think like. To some, like the OP1, when we released it was, okay, it's like this kind of design team that, like design students, I think they called us the first time we showed it. But it's actually, like the engineers that do, I think that, like the design is like the best, the finest engineering.
Yeah, so if you engineer something well, it will be nicely designed because it'll have had the thought put in.
In all aspects, Okay,
interesting. Anybody else care to elaborate on on that? I mean, I suppose the thing is about this whole concept of the company, is that you continue to do what you want. I mean, is that important as well? I mean, you don't want to be just purely driven by commercial needs.
Okay. Absolutely, and I think that's also a reason that we are still like independent company. We don't have to push out products just to survive, and we don't have to build on products that we have released the year before and do like a remake. A lot of companies, I think nowadays, not just in the music industry but in they just do, a new,
it's cashing in on your
new
your
design,
R&D.
But
is that because do you still have external projects to the core products that you make yourselves? Is that why you can do that? Because that's hard to maintain, I guess.
I think it's more about daring to keep a product as is for more than 1-2. I mean, in the cell phone industry, it's like 12-18 months. The OP1 is soon 10 years. In the making, and of course we've updated the software a bit over the years, but it's still the same machine. Of course, it's tempting to make a version 2 or 3, but it's not needed. I mean, we'd rather like polish it even more software-wise, and then make a completely new synth, like the OP said. That's a totally different thing, or the pocket operators. So just like, I don't know, how many years ago did we release the first pocket operator? Is it 3 or 4?
2013 on my notes here.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, anyway.
Okay, so that's perfect. So that would be the same thing with them. I mean, it's the same hardware, same layout.
Yeah.
You don't need to change it. I think some companies are just worried that sales might drop. We have to add memory or add something new. I think it's the opposite. Just keep it, there's going to be new users.
But you have to have a differential as well, don't you? You have to be different enough to be able to get away with that.
Of course. But I think, again, that's just like confidence. Just making sure, I mean, we know it's a good product. Just keep it there.
Okay, so I have a question for the group, I guess. We haven't spoken to everybody just yet. But so with a collective of people, I mean, is there the opportunity for the auteur, somebody who has a very strong idea for making something, to bring all of you along, or do you have to? Is it very much a group thing? Do you see what I mean? If somebody comes in, I've got almost a fully formed idea. How do we make this, or can we make this? Does anybody want to make this?
I would say if it like fits in our belief system, in a way. Everything is possible, and I think like if you should come to us, in Stockholm, because the last year we started off like a small team, and the team grew and grew, but now we've split it up the company in small teams again, just to make it more vital and.
So each team has their own sort of enthusiastic drive and what.
From start to finish. So I would say that like the idea is that a product team, as we call them, they could like do everything from. Coming up with an idea for a product, designing it, like do the electronics programming, even to the packaging, and to the website, because I think, that's how we see a product. It's, a product doesn't have an end. Okay. And I think the OP1 is like the best example of that. We talked about that, me and Tobias, today, that, we have traveled the world like 10 times just because of OP1.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for this. And I like to stress our passion, our mutual passion in all the aspects of our work. And that gets translated into machines that will last a long time and that people will pick up on, that energy that we put into it. And yeah, we're here now. Who knows where we'll be tomorrow, but it's... Still here. Yeah, exactly. It's well, yeah, exactly.
Well, I wanted to bring something in also. There's this sort of there was some collaborative stuff that's gone with IKEA as well, which was as announced, which also interestingly have a similar design ethos in small teams and product-focused teams. I mean, was that kind of inevitable, or is that just, again, me?
Yeah, so I passed the microphone over to Mattias, who was the creative leader at IKEA, but we hired him, so...
So I joined the enemy, but actually are friends. No, but I think I think the IKEA is a values-driven company, and so is Teenage Engineering. And it's all about sort of not compromising in what you want, sort of the functional benefit and the experience of a product to be. So I think there was an immediate match between Teenage and IKEA, and we've got, I think, we're on the 4th project now together, and have worked together since, you could say, 2000, I don't know, 6-7 years ago or something. And it's just fantastic. And then it's Teenage is for me, the new kid on the block, having just joined Teenage from IKEA.
Sure.
It is a doers company, the passionate doers that doesn't talk much but do a lot.
So is there a what kind of product areas are we talking about? Because one would is it musical, or are these outside of just the pure musical thing, that these collaborative IKEA sort of collaborations? Or can't you talk about them yet? I should also...
Yeah, we can talk about the first one. It's out. They have, it's public, the products are not out yet, but the starting point was to create something, with sound in the home. Almost like we talked about as a decoration element, right? Instead of furniture, it can be sound or music, So that was the starting point. And IKEA is IKEA, so it's it's a big we call it a big elephant, so it's not that easy to bring all ideas that we have to the IKEA warehouse, or
of course.
But a lot of stuff. But it will be like speakers, lamps and stuff like that.
And also there's this crossover, isn't there? Because everybody kind of discovers these sort of random IKEA pieces of hardware that are really good for putting synths on, or hanging your patch cables off, or storing your hard drives in, or whatever,
Yeah, but I think, and more so, I think it's about also what music is. Music unites people. Musical instruments sort of has the function of bringing people together, but also allowing people to express themselves. And the home is the stage for everyday life in, I don't know, people and music.
Well, it's
it is
teenage engineering every day, isn't it? Almost. Yeah.
You can hear it's Mattias' 3rd day, so it's still a lot of IKEA stuff coming out of his mouth. But we will. This is like a training,
but it was about making sort of get the music parties started in the homes.
Right. Okay. I got you. Yeah. So you sir haven't said anything yet. So what's your role within the teenage engineering family? He's got the tattoos and everything.
Yeah, I'm a spider in the web.
So you do all the.
I'm the guy behind
all the
behind the camera. No, but I do. I handle the PR.
Okay.
Basically, so I'm in contact with guys like you and press artists, all kinds of connections like that.
It's interesting because we joke about the flat pack kind of kind of Scandinavian culture. But it seems like there's also a very flat kind of management structure as well, which is a really good way to do things, I think. You know, and you see that in a lot of really successful companies, right?
Sure. I don't know how to answer that, but
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I just threw that in there.
It's like you said, how we started, like a couple of friends basically, and basically we've kept that mentality. We've kept that, even though we've grown to be 40 people, and some are outside the Stockholm office, but still we're a bunch of friends, really dedicated, really passionate, doing what we love. So, and and you said we listen to all ideas, and it's very important when if we as a team like something that we like a prototype, that's the one we put emphasis on, and that's.
So there's the sort of a light bulb moment, or it's like a moment when you're creating music and you suddenly go, everybody goes, that's great, let's go with that.
Yeah, sure, exactly. So what we like, we produce more of, and then something may end up as a product, and something may be ditched because nobody liked it. So that's.
And that's quite important. I mean, creative collaboration is difficult because people find it hard to take rejection in the creative sphere. I mean, but that's something you have to learn very quickly. If you just go have a great idea and it goes, yeah, I don't like it, and it's like, well, okay, that's fine, I've got another one, you know. But that's quite important, I think, to be able to deal with that, right?
I think right now, or even from the start in the company, I think like everybody that works in teenage engineering are basically friends from the beginning, and it's. I think the whole maker thing, or whatever we should call it, is very like built on trust. So it's you know, nobody's afraid of like doing something wrong, or you know, building, you know, just if we have a laser machine, you know,
tripping
like
out the power,
somebody's trying the laser, you know, and come up with an idea, and you know, if it's a good idea, it might end up into something. And I think it builds on friendship and trust in people, you know, and you know, if you do something wrong, it's you know, there's nothing wrong with it.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like a really kind of quite a poignant way to end this this little piece. I want to say thank you to everybody for talking to me today, and we're going to go back into what the kind of bedlam that is NAMM now. But it's been nice to have this little piece of serenity in the sun.
It was nice having you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.